Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisance to all devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Hare Krishna to all your devotees.
Hare Krishna to all.
Hare Krishna, all devotees.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all. I want to say something. May I?
माता जी लाइव आ रहा है, but you can.
Actually, today is Prabhuji's birthday, so I'm thinking to wish.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yes,
Sure.
we can wish. हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
That's all I want to
आपको
say.
okay, you know how to wish in ISKCON? ISKCON में कैसे wish करते हैं?
No, I have no idea.
Yes, Prabhuji, by singing Hare Krishna to you.
Right. ठीक है. So we'll sing together. ठीक है. Once Prabhuji is joined. ठीक है ना? ठीक है. We see text from Rohini ISKCON in Rohini Institute as well. कि yeah, we can do it in starting. तो अभी हमें अप्रूवल भी मिल गया. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble
Hare
obeisance.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, start. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
To you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. To you.
to you. Krishna
Krishna.
Krishna
To
to
you.
you. Hare Hare
Hare to
to you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, without
Hare
wasting any
Rama.
time. Hare Krishna to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji to you.
सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष आदि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री राधा सुभाषणी भक्ति हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for being here, and I thank you for your kind wishes. Of course, there is I don't want to actually, like pour cold water on your form of reception. However, there are certain things you need to know. It's better that you know it now. There is nothing called Hare Krishna to you. It has somebody concocted this thing. I asked many proper disciples, like, was this the tradition during proper steps? And outside of India, most devotees even don't know such a thing exists. So I believe at some point in time in India, we came up with this idea. This happy birthday to you was replaced by Hare Krishna to you. And like I used to sing the same things like you, all of you used did today. I stopped that quite a few years ago. It struck me one day that like if I'm chanting Hare Krishna to you, what it is actually. If I say Hare Krishna to you, but the Hare Krishna mantra is exclusively reserved and supposed to be offered to Krishna. So then I am offering the Hare Krishna to somebody, and also in that process, chopping off the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna to you, Krishna Krishna to you, Hare Rama to you, Rama Rama to you. And it's just like okay, it came to my mind like nobody, it's just like Paramatma. So then I first researched thoroughly about Veda base and things like that, and didn't find any mention of that, and found how Prabhupada used to celebrate birthdays, and then I asked. Now he's not like he has possibly entered into the eternal pastimes. Rajshekhar Das Brahmachari, who passed away last month, right after 3 or 4 days of the passing away of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he passed away. And he miraculously passed away in Maya, not in Vrindavan, because all his life he served in Vrindavan. Every time I used to only see him in Vrindavan. I don't know how come he ended up in Mayapur, and then maybe that's Krishna's arrangement that the highest, as we see in many of our acharyas, they came, they attained the siddhi in Vrindavan, and then they came to stay and relish Mahaprabhu's magnanimity in Mayapur, be it Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, be it Jagannath Das Babaji, who did majority of their bhajans in Vrindavan, but then ended up in Mayapur. So he was also here. So I asked him, and I asked, I think I asked Bhanu Maharaj. I said, never heard of it. They also said, no, I never heard of it. So with that thing, I concluded possibly it's our generation who added this up. Yes. So this actually, it is, Prabhupada says this kind of thing. One thing what he says about this, it's called, in Bengali, they call it Chhad Kirtan. Chhad Kirtan means just like, sometimes we do these things. In these movies, sometimes they do this Hare Krishna and things like that. So that kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, it's not really a kirtan. It's just like for entertainment. It's like for entertainment. So yeah, so it's like that. So actually, has got no benefit. Actually, I personally would. I never sing this anymore. Like if I'm caught in a situation when I am in a birthday celebration and the others singing this, I stop singing. I just keep playing the mridanga, but I don't sing it. So because that is not the time to teach them. And everybody is like gathered together and says, singing, share happy Hare Krishna to you, and say, hey, that's not like, like kind of, this is this old school, old 45 years old, get him out of this place. So kind of thing, you don't do that. I don't do it. But at the same time, I don't sing it either, knowing well that this is actually, it's basically breaking. It's actually concoction of the Kirtan, because like Hare Krishna Mahamantra should not be tampered with. Yeah, but then that's okay. Like, I understand this entertainment. So for what entertainment is concerned, it's entertainment, but don't take it too seriously. Good. Okay, so with this, let's begin our chapter number 6. I have chapter number 6, and that is Dhyan Yoga. Finally, we are there at Dhyan Yoga, and my my service is to bring all of us to that edge of Bhakti Yoga to be taken away over by Siddharani Maji from next week. So it's an appropriate person. So now that after you see here as like Prabhupada is giving this. Krishna explained how to achieve liberation through Nishkam Karma Yoga. That was the bulk of the chapter yesterday. But at the end, at the end of the chapter, he explained how to achieve the same liberation through Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, or what you call generally Dhyan Yoga. Okay, generally it is called Dhyan Yoga. Okay. So now in 6th chapter, he will describe the process of Ashtanga Yoga in greater detail. As we must understand this difference, like terminologies, different terminologies, but different terminologies, of course, they are pointing towards different aspect of this yoga system. You see, this is like different aspects. Like, it is technically called, this Dhyan Yoga is the general name. Here, this is technically what he is describing is the Ashtanga Yoga. It's a more technical name. They also there are also other names basically which focuses on other aspects of the same thing which we call Dhyan Yoga. It's like Hatha Yoga. Okay. So that's the mechanical part of this yoga is called Hatha Yoga. And Dhyan Ashtanga Yoga are the 8 parts of Dhyan Yoga, you can say. Okay. If you call what is Dhyan Yoga and you want to break it down, so there the Dhyan Yoga has got 8 parts. Therefore, these 8 parts are also known by the name of Ashtanga Yoga. There are 8. It's just like that. Okay. This is also known on the subtle level. What Daya got confused when yesterday Mashweta brought up this topic. It's called Shat Chakra Yoga. Shata means like 7 chakras. So these are like the subtle. If you call this very Dhyan Yoga system and see it from the subtle plane, then it is called Shat Chakra or the 7 chakra yogas. When you see it from the grosser plane, you call it Ashtanga Yoga. Like Dhyan Yoga is just like the street name, street names. Like sometimes we have got like names which is like, just like we can say, what? I only know Haripriya Radhamaji's like nickname. Like it's like say honey. So that's like the street name, like the nickname, honey. But actually it is Haripriya Radha, kind of. So in the same way, so the more formal thing, Ashtanga Yoga, subtle, this Shat Chakra Yoga, one aspect of Dhyan Yoga, which is like which focuses more on the bodily exercise, that is called Hatha Yoga. Okay. So these are various things. Then they also bring in Raj Yoga. There are different things, certain things. They consider it as Raj Yoga. Okay, the best of the yogas, therefore they call it Raj Yoga also. Okay. But basically it is talking about only one thing, which is Dhyan Yoga. different names. And you see the same yoga from different angles. All right, so don't get, I am using this terminology so that you don't get confused. Somebody mentions something, oh, he's performing Raj Yoga. So you have to understand what he is doing actually is a form of Dhyana Yoga. And somebody says, oh, he teaches, he's a Hatha Yoga teacher. So you understand that, okay, basically another form of Dhyana Yoga. So it's like that. Yes, Dayamaji, go on to move.
Krishna Dandavat Pranam.
Dr. Maji.
I was about to ask that it's a form, 8 form. You said already.
It's not 8 forms, it's like 8 limbs of one form of yoga. 8 aspects of one form of yoga. Just like I have got, see, limbs means what? Just like I have got a face, I have got hands, I've got legs, these are limbs, right? So, but the totality is me. So the totality is Dhyana Yoga, but the Dhyana Yoga has got 8 limbs. So we will go to that. So that's why if I say the person with 8 limbs, you will understand that it's talking about the same person of Dhyana Yoga.
Jnana Yoga.
Okay. All right. Nishtamaji, ready? It's your turn. All right. Let's go there. Ashika Maji is here, right? Good. Oh, where are we? What's going on? Yeah. All right. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya. You see? Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha sa niragni chakrina. Because he was teaching this anashrita karma phalam till now in the 55th chapter. Go on, Maji.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty.
So this idea, one who lights no fire performs no duties. So lights no fire is the symbolic thing, what we call like no spiritual practice. The symbolism. Lights no fires. Like generally it is understood that the person who like does yagya, so it will light a fire kind of thing. So that here it is symbolizing. Lights no fire is like a symbolic, it's like we use semiles. That's a semile. So where he is saying basically one who do not perform any spiritual practice and he doesn't perform any duty means prescribed duty. That means the varnashram duty. Okay. A person who does not perform any varnashram duty nor perform any spiritual practice is not a true mystic or a yogi. Okay. So now you will be gradually opening up as the Ashtanga Yoga system. You see this like talking about Yagya, sacrificial fire, Agnihotra. That's the point. Okay. Because he is discussing proper. Sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated and they don't cease to do this. So one should not do that. Even if he is liberated, should continue. All right. Go on, Maji. See, he is talking continuously in all these verses, he's talking about sannyas, sannyas, sannyas. But he never talks about the saffron cloth. Whereas in traditional Hindu societies, anybody who wears a saffron cloth and this becomes sannyasi, sannyas, sannyas. Sannyas le liya, Prabhu, sannyas le liya. He's not talking about sannyas all along. There's no mention of saffron cloth. Yes, Dayamaji, go on.
What is reason of saffron cloth?
That's just a symbolism. That's just a
Somewhere I
symbolism.
heard that it's color of attraction towards God. in one of the
You see,
podcasts. Most
you see what happens when there's absence of real or correct information, communication, or I would say. So absence of communication means what? There will never be a vacuum. That vacuum will be filled up by speculation. So either it's communication or the replacement is speculation. So color of attraction towards God and this and that. That's maybe true, maybe not true. I cannot say that Krishna is not attracted by saffron, but I cannot even say that like saffron is the way to attract Krishna. You you see, it's like Krishna loves all colors. He made all of them. It's like he likes all colors, including saffron. So I don't see any reason why saffron will be either like given more preference or Krishna will reject saffron. So Krishna likes all colors. Saffron, of course, like saffron, there are different uh, philosophical aspects to this. So one of the thing is saffron represents the color of fire. So fire represents purification. So through the fire of purification, a jiva is supposed to purify himself. That's one of the ideas of saffron. So it's just like otherwise, same saffron also represents the color of sunlight, sun, same thing, antiseptic. Okay. There are more implications in our sampradaya. Saffron is this is actually not what I'm wearing is not exactly the shade of saffron. So that's why you'll see in ISKCON. Oh my God, we cannot even get our shades like you are not even unicolor. You see, there are different shades of saffron. Every temple wears a different shade of saffron, things like that. But actually, saffron, the color of saffron, as we understand, most particularly, um, we understand saffron to be saffron, what we eat. In our food, we use this saffron. But actually, it's a little more lighter shade than the saffron, what is talked about in Gaudiya Vaishnava angle. And that represents the dust particles that is coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. So that's another thing. So there are different things. So anyway, saffron is just saffron. Jyotimaji, go on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Jyotimaji.
Prabhuji, like my question was regarding yesterday that we have made that triangle. In that triangle, like in that where the free will falls exactly, because
Jiva.
yeah,
But either he goes this way or that way. That is that place where Jiva is situated on that crossroad. He has that free will.
either
And he
he has to,
never loses his free will. Either he chooses this path or that path, he never loses his free will. If he's on this path, he can come back and go to that path. If he's on that path, he can still like not go the whole distance and come back to this path. He never loses the free will.
okay, between
Yeah.
karma and devotional service.
Yeah, he never loses his free will.
Okay.
Not possible. If
And
he loses the free will, he will lose service. He becomes like a slave, not a servant. See,
yes,
Prabhupada, that's a very important point. Prabhupada never used the term slave to describe service to Krishna.
Mhm.
There have been some like Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas who had chosen to describe the word slave or divine slavery to describe the service to Krishna. But Prabhupada never used that term. He always used the term servant because a servant always has the free will.
yes, and
Because the word das, as we have in our names, and the word das as we use in the bhajans, okay? that can have both meanings. For dictionary, you can use das means slave and das means servant also. But Prabhupada always preferred the servant part. I have never seen Prabhupada using the word slave to explain the service of Krishna. That's very important, actually, I think. Yeah, go on.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And one more question I had was this. You told whatever happens in life, whatever happens, we have to see that it occurred under the influence of the three modes of nature. And whatever, like even we say, like even a leaf, if it twinkles here,
False.
falls. It is due to the will of Krishna. So,
True.
if anything happens, whatever may happen, we should think it under the modes of three modes of nature or under the will of Krishna. Means this thing I didn't get it clear.
Thank you. Both.
Both.
It's not either. It's not either or. It cannot happen without the sanction of Krishna, but it cannot happen unless and until the three modes of nature acts.
So priority
So
will be Krishna will.
obviously always Krishna. But in case of Jiva, when the Jiva plays its part, then it will be the Jiva, because he can interfere with his free will. Material nature does not have a free will of its own. It only works under the direction of Krishna. But the Jiva, he may choose to accept the direction of Krishna or reject the direction of Krishna. If when the Jiva intervenes, then the equation changes.
uh, in this, like what you told, in one more thing, I had this in the history, like when we read the scriptures, there were at times when something was supposed to happen, so because of that the modes were such that the person automatically due to their free will they took that decision, but the mode was actually created by the will of Krishna.
Yes, yes. See, first thing, good question. So let me clarify, go back and discuss what we started with. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharachara. It's like you will see this in Bhagavad Gita. So when the prakriti or the nature acts under the direct superintendence of Krishna. Okay, that part is easy to understand. So now when the jiva is intervening, what's going on? That, like you said, that say for example, the jiva has desired something. Okay, so in order to facilitate that desire, the modes have to be adjusted. So then Krishna will adjust the modes. And when the modes are adjusted and the jiva find the modes suitable or conducive to what he wants to do, then he is even more attracted. But the trigger has been pressed by the jiva, and then there is a chain reaction, which is like facilitated by Krishna. Well, either the facilitation has been done willingly or unwillingly. That's secondary. But nevertheless, Krishna had its sanction in it. And then the modes, they adjust or align themselves accordingly. And the desire of the jiva is fulfilled. So that's how the thing happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
just last point. In Ramayana, like when Lord Rama was supposed to go for exile for the forest. So in that time, in order for for his mother to tell that he has to go, that was not actually her will at that point of, that was under some mode, under mode which was created.
Okay. See, Krishna's Leela and Jiva's Kriya. These are two different things. Like, as with the same chapter, when we read that in 4th chapter, Janma Karma and Guna Karma. Whatever is happening in the life of the Jiva is due to the Guna Karma. But when Krishna is depicting something, that is Janma Karma. So, there, when Ramachandra or any incarnation or Krishna himself, the souls of all incarnations, they enact something. So the material nature aligns itself accordingly. Just like Jiva has his will, Krishna also has his will. So Krishna now wills, or Ramachandra wills, to go to forest. So then the material nature will act accordingly. Because that is happening under what we call technically Leela Shakti, which is nothing but the material, nothing but the nature. The nature is according spiritually, just like nature. Yesterday somebody asked that question. Nature is nature. Either you call it material or spiritual, it's just like electricity. It goes inside the heater, it heats. Air goes inside the AC, it cools. So it's just electricity. So then it's a very neutral in nature. So then that's how it works. Krishna or Ramachandra is never under karma. Okay, they are not under. And people sometimes, when they think that, let us discuss, or let us, like trying to highlight the power and the extent of karma. There's this song, now one of the Hindi pictures, at least 60 years ago, 70 years ago, actually, 70 years, 1950s, Bharat Bhushan, he was the hero. And he was singing that song, and it was this line, देख इसी किस्मत के कारण वन में गए रघुराई किस्मत का लेख मिटे ना भाई. Okay, so it doesn't understand that Ramchandra is not going to the forest because of Kismat.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so I have to understand that thing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move ahead. Nishtha Maji. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the next verse. We are in second verse. Go on.
What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga or linking oneself with the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification.
See, that is the first condition to become a yogi, prerequisite. You must renounce the desire for sense gratification. See, the point is, you may not, okay, fine. Let's, okay, focus on this, focus on the screen. See, I'm doing something. Read this now.
From beginning or just the last time, Prabhuji?
O son of Pandu.
O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces for self gratification.
Okay. Wait. Unless he renounces.
Unless he renounces sense gratification.
All right. Okay. Let's see this. Again, read this. O son of Pandu. Same sentence.
O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification.
So, you find any difference between this and this?
One is the complete desire, another one is the full renunciation of sense gratification, not even coming to the level of desire. It's like not existing in the second category.
Yeah, right? Even a higher mark. Is it not? What is he asking to renounce?
The desire.
Sense
The
gratification.
desire. Exactly. The desire for sense gratification, not sense gratification. These are the finer prints. Always remember, these are the finer prints. Anybody, like people who say that you have to renounce sense gratification, is out of his senses. Person who is saying that you have to renounce sense gratification, he is out of his senses. There are senses and they need to be gratified. but you can give up the desire for sense gratification. Who are you? Who are you in this case?
As per the last class, you asked us to do
Yeah.
while reading this.
Yes, just that thing, Let x be equal to 1. Let the u be equal to Jiva soul. So the Jiva soul is being asked to do what? Renounce? Renounce what?
Desire.
Desire.
The
Desire
desire
for
for sense gratification.
desire for sense. What is not just desire as a whole, the desire for sense gratification. Why? What is the loss or what is the gain? If I'm gratifying my senses, what is the gain? What is my gain?
Will be entangled more and more. Let's not gain on this.
No. But what do I gain?
Pleasure.
That is entanglement is a result. Pleasure. Okay. So who am I in this case?
Soul.
Soul. Does the soul have got senses?
No.
No. So how can he do sense gratification? So who is possibly doing the sense gratification?
Body.
Body or the senses themselves. So what is your problem? It is gratifying itself. Not my business. I'm not involved. They are not mine. I have no connection with them. So the soul has got only one thing. The soul does not have the senses. What does it have in the same sentence? The desire for sense gratification. What does the soul have? The soul doesn't have senses. That is now established. What does it have?
Desire.
Desire. Exactly. Soul can desire. So the soul not desire sense gratification. It can desire something else. The senses be satisfied with the sense objects, you have no problem because you have got nothing to do with them. The pastime yesterday of Durvasa Muni, then the senses be doing whatever they are doing. I am not the senses. I am not the sense objects which were used to satisfy those senses either. That's why this is the final print. O son of Pandu, give up this desire for sense gratification, not sense gratification. Because there's no need to do that because you're not that. Whether the senses are gratifying themselves, not gratifying, that is not none of your business. The business of the soul. So what is this? This is all contemplation. This is the meditation part. This is the meditation part. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. See, here's all talking about the jhana and the yoga process. But it is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. We haven't come to that, but like what he is saying, it is automatically done because the desire is molded towards Krishna. If you're not molding it towards Krishna, so the process is this, what we read there. I am not the sense, and therefore it's not that. But it becomes easy to mold the desire because you cannot remain without desire. You can only stop desiring about the sense and the sense gratification, but the desire remains. The problem of desire remains. So the desire has to be redirected. Okay. You see now these words, carefully read this. Aruruksho and Arudasya. Ruruksha, Yoga Ruruksha and Yoga Aruda. These are two things. This is the practicing and the person who has achieved perfection. This Aruruksha is rather, in our parlance, in devotional parlance, we call it sadhaka. And Aruda, in our parlance, we call it siddha. Okay. Text number 3. Aruruksha, who has just begun, you see. This is the sadhaka. And the other Aruda, who has done that, he is the siddha. Where is it? You see, one who has attained. Okay. The practitioner and the perfectionist. And the person who's achieved perfection. Sorry. Okay. Go on. Third one. Yes, Mataji.
For one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means.
So in the beginning, like when he is starting the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means. Like at the beginning, karma yoga is useful for the practitioner. So he is practicing karma yoga and also started practicing Ashtanga yoga side by side. Okay, wait. Means the performer of the Ashtanga yoga or the Dhyan yoga, he doesn't like one day wake up in the morning and straight away leave the home for that. No. He is practicing karma yoga while staying at the house. And after a point in time, when he's confident, because he's side by side practicing Ashtanga yoga, and is confident enough, then he leaves. So it is always benefit. The karma yoga works in conjunction with Ashtanga yoga in the beginning. Okay. For one who is elevated, you see, elevated, not reach perfection. But then ease, cessation of material activities says to be the means. That is the transition. That is the transition. Okay. So we will see that, okay, maybe at this point, let's go to the handbook. We show you something which is relevant. Going to the handbook. You see the yoga ladder. Okay. It's page number 26, I believe. Here you can see, oh yeah, it's 26. So here you can see the yoga ladder. So what's going on here? Okay. See, Karma Kanda was the bare minimum to remain a human being who is not committing sinful activities. Nevertheless, he is performing karma and he is getting the results of good karma, bad karma. Okay. So this is the Karma Kanda. He is not a sinner. This is the starting or the bare minimum standard of Vedic life. Karma Kanda. Bare minimum standard of Vedic life. If you want to write it along with this, so I don't mind. Then, when he starts offering the karma to the Supreme or Supreme Truth, okay? Absolute Truth, sorry, okay? From Absolute Truth, Param Satya. Between Supreme Truth and Supreme Lord, that whole spectrum, okay? Supreme or Absolute Truth, then Supreme Lord. All of this. Different understanding of Brahma. different understanding of Brahma only. So the starting was Nirguna Brahma and ending with the Saguna aspect of the Brahma, that Brahma is a person also. That's why it finishes with Supreme Lord. Does not know Krishna, does not know Vishnu. That is the area of Karma Yoga, because he is working and offering the result to karma, of karma to Krishna. Okay? So now he wants to cease the work, cease working, and using the path of contemplation on the Brahma. That means karma sannyas. On that side, he has done karma sannyas, and on that side, he is using his mind and senses in contemplation of the impersonal Brahma, that is the Jnana Yoga. Okay? Okay? That's why you see there both these arrows, both are going towards Brahma. The purpose of Karma Yoga, purpose of Jnana Yoga is Brahma. Now, in Ashtanga Yoga, he starts with the Karma Yoga, jumps to Jnana Yoga, and now seizes further his senses and goes to the final realization of Paramatma. The Ashtanga Yogi can go up till the level of Paramatma now. He can also go to Brahma, but if he chooses, he may choose to go beyond that. And that's what we will be seeing here. Okay? Now, what we call, it's like yoga ladder. Wait. Here, you see Bhakti Yoga. Okay. From Ashtanga Yoga, you can directly go to Bhakti Yoga. Wait. That's not over. That's not over yet. Wait. From Jnana Yoga, you can go directly to Bhakti Yoga. Bhoktaram Yajnatavasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. That's the key. Okay. From Karma Yoga, you can directly go to Bhakti Yoga. Okay. And from Karma Kanda, you can straight away go to Bhakti Yoga. So one can start Bhakti Yoga from anywhere. That's the first thing. Two things here. Okay. Two things. First, and second is, watch this one. Karma Yoga ends in Bhakti Yoga. The highest point of Karma Yoga comes to Bhakti Yoga. The highest form of Jnana Yoga culminates into Bhakti Yoga. The highest form of Ashtanga Yoga also culminates in Bhakti Yoga. So what's going on? While you are practicing Karma Yoga, you can switch to Bhakti Yoga. Or you attain the perfection of Karma Yoga and you automatically enter into Bhakti Yoga. While you are performing Jnana Yoga, you can start Bhakti Yoga. Or the culmination of Bhakti Jnana Yoga can be started with Bhakti Yoga. Okay? All of that is there. The only thing is the desire of the living entity. If the living entity does not desire to take to Bhakti Yoga, he can stay with Brahma or he can stay with the Paramatma realization. Okay? Follow? You feel me? Okay. Usha, is it okay? Usha, is it okay? Okay. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Because I saw your face and it was like completely flying over your little head. So then I just wanted to. Okay. Uh, 3 questions. Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu, then Krishna Kanaya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Pandit
Prabhuji. Please
Gadadhar.
accept my humble obeisances.
Namaste, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, in the last chapter, second last slok, we read about Ashtang Yoga, which the last step is Samadhi. So is this Samadhi the same that we attain in Bhakti Yoga?
No, because the term is the same, but the realization is different. The term is the same, but the realization is different because the path is different. So therefore, the effect will be different. Although the term is the
Okay.
same. Yeah, the term, the samadhi, which we will come to here. That's like samadhi is Paramatma. So that's why the samadhi is going to Paramatma. Here, the samadhi is going towards Bhagavan. So then, therefore, that samadhi is prema. So it's different. Certainly has to be different.
Oh. And Prabhuji, in the yoga ladder itself, earlier we read or we heard that 100% of Karma Yoga is a starting point of Bhakti Yoga. So 100% of Ashtang Yoga is the starting point of Bhakti Yoga as well, right? Or the one who is situated.
Yeah.
Or the one who is situated in Samadhi of Ashtang Yoga is the starting point of Bhakti Yoga, is it?
Because that's where he can go towards the Bhagavan part. Or he may choose not to proceed towards the Bhagavan part and just be satisfied with the Paramatma. The will of whatever the percentage, the will of the Jiva is not forfeited. So he has to, that's what. Okay. Krishna Kanaya Prabhu, please go on, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
Please go on, my best Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, like you said, in the Gyan Yoga and the Karma Yoga, the ultimate perfection that they can achieve is the Brahma, if they want to. So, Prabhuji, isn't that another form of ultimate perfection?
It's not ultimate because
they're liberated from.
yes, that's what we were discussing yesterday. Well, you were there when we were discussing the triangle.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So yeah, so the position of the jiva, that's like what he is attaining by attaining Brahma, is the marginal position. See, the jiva in this material world, he is in an inferior position. The jiva from where he has come to this place is the marginal position, which is the position of Brahma. Okay. So, but the jiva, he can perfect his position and attain the constitutional position from the marginal position, which is service to Krishna. So jiva can still, that jiva has got progression. So that place, which is the attainment of Brahma, is a marginal position. It's like where like he belongs because he is the separated part of Krishna. So if Krishna, he is separated from Krishna, where would he be? Somewhere in the middle. So that's why it's like this. That's why the jiva, he can endeavor further by attempting to serve Krishna. And in doing so, he achieves what we call Swarup Siddhi. That's the difference. If he doesn't do that, yeah, he can stay in the Brahma. But like that's what we see, that it's from Brahma where the jiva falls to the material plane. So it's not a permanent position in that sense of the term. Relatively permanent, but not as permanent as compared to when the jiva attains the service of Krishna.
Yes, so
Right.
why does he fall down from that position of Brahma?
Not for like we say that it is falling down. It's when I am seeing that it says falling down. But the person, say for example, somebody jumps. So I can say he's falling down. Certainly he's falling down. But the point is that he's not falling down because he's jumping. From my angle of vision, he's falling down. From his angle of vision, he has jumped. That's all. The will of the jiva is included. Nobody pushed him down and he didn't accidentally fell down. Okay. Shubham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, when we say the Paramatma realization, like how do we understand? Like the yogi sees the Shirodaksha Vishnu inside him, that yeah, there is some person with two hands, a person like that. Because in the Gyan Yoga or in the Karma Yoga, we can see that the Brahma realization, it's impersonal. So is it like that?
Exactly like that. I mean, I don't know, something like that. I haven't realized that, so I don't know. Something close to that. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Something like that. And where he's seeing inside? Who is he?
The soul.
The soul is looking inwards. See, the body has been left behind long ago. Okay. So
Okay, Prabhuji.
the Paramatma resides in the heart of the soul. Okay. So that is.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Good. Okay, let's move on. Like all good things, we have to move on. Okay. Verse number 4. Go on. Nishta Mataji.
A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities.
So you see, that's like he renounced all material desires. He has not, you see, if you, the same thing, if you say this is Buddhism. If you write this is Buddhism. Okay. This is a near impossible task. If you manage to do that, you go to a suspended animation. You don't go to Brahma. Okay. So that's why that you have to understand this, like always the desire will always be there, either this way or that way. If you want to kill desire, that is also a desire. Trying to kill your desire is a desire. So you actually never become desireless. But you stop, it's just like you stop understanding that you are left with some desire. That's even more dangerous. If you don't know that you have something, you don't know how to deal with it. To find this, these things are like all subtle things. And these are also, see, first thing, these things are for practice. Preaching comes much later. First thing is for practice, that like, I'm not practicing desirelessness. I'm just practicing to turn my desire towards Krishna. Because I cannot technically kill desire. Because I try to kill desire, it will leave desire. The desire to be killed. So all these things, these are all in the mind. These are all in the mind. So when they are in the mind, you're thinking like that, you see, you will never even accidentally say things like that. When you say, I want to become desireless, Prabhuji, please bless me. I don't want to have any desire. So because that means what? You haven't neither understood the thing and forget practicing it. So then certainly, like if you, and in that stage, if you preach, just imagine the kind of havoc you will be creating. Go on.
One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
This is one of your CBA questions. You see? So Mana, what was that? Yeah, Atmanaiva hi Atmano Bandhur, Atmanaiva Ripuratmana. Atmanaiva hi Atmano Bandhur, Atmanaiva Ripuratmana. So this is what it is. That means in Buddhism, no mind. Here, I'm dealing with the mind. Who is dealing with the mind? Who is dealing with the mind?
Soul, body.
Yes. The soul is dealing with an external object. It is not part of me. I'm dealing with the foreign element called mind. And it can either be therefore, because I'm different from the mind, therefore it can either be friend or enemy. How can I be friend of myself? It takes two to have me either have friends or enemies. So they are already started seeing mind separate from me and then deal with it. Okay. That's why you don't listen to the mind. You know this is somebody else. Okay. That's why all these things, मैं मन का राजा हूं, is all just you are not mind. Okay. That's why you see it's very clear. Friend of the conditioned soul. See? For the liberated soul, he does not have this external element called mind. For the liberated soul, his mind, his intelligence, his self, it's all one. It's all one. It's all part of the Sachidananda. Because mind is one of the elements. Remember? Shankar? One of the elements. I'm dealing with one of the elements. Elements do not exist in the spiritual world. I mean, they do, but in the purest form. Anyway, leave it. That discussion for now. So this is the Shweta Shatra Amrita Bindu Upanishads. Prabhupada used to use this verse very often. Maneva Manushyanam Karana Bandha Mokshaye. It's because of the mind we become entangled in karma. Bandhaya Vishaya Sango. You see, Vishaya Sango, always we use this Sangham Tattva, association, this association. Muktai Nirishwaryam. So, cause of material bondage, cause of liberation is a best friend, first enemy. Bandhuratmana tasya. Go on.
For him,
Nishtamaji.
for him who has conquered the mind is the best friend. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
So certainly. So what is the enemy of the mind? That the enemy means it will keep you here. It will keep you in the conditioned stage. That's why it's enemy. It will continuously keep you. And for this basically, we are discussing in terms of the yogi. If one who is practicing you see the yoga ruruksha and yoga ruda. For the yoga ruruksha, or means the practitioner, the sadhaka, it will remain so till he can conquer the mind or control the mind. So here, the Ashtanga Yoga, it is focused on controlling the mind. So the difference, see, you see how the mind is dealt differently in different places. And in Buddhism, they try to kill the mind. No mind. In Ashtanga Yoga, they try to control the mind. Okay? Both in Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. They're trying to control the mind. In Bhakti Yoga, they try to engage the mind. So these are different approaches to how you deal with the mind. Controlling the mind, killing the mind, engaging the mind, different paths using different strategies. Okay. Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu, please go on.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question. So is it that the free will interacts with the mind and the mind then interacts with the senses, whether to engage it or to engage it in the service of Krishna or to engage it in for the sense
Actually,
gratification.
this is a good question. Actually, you know what happens? It's when the mind is, see, the free will, the conditioned soul has a free will, right? So what is the conditioning? The soul is inherently free and free will. So now the soul is conditioned by the mind. That means it's like this glasses. So now the free will, oh sorry, the conditioned soul is seeing everything through the prism of the mind. Now he has got this colored vision. That's why the free will is also being misused. Because the data that is being fed to the soul is like colored. So therefore, the free will is always going in the right and wrong direction. So therefore, but because the soul and the free will, they are not able to do so under superior guidance or intelligence. When he starts following somebody, either it's a guru or it's a sadhu or it's a shastra, so he doesn't, he's with his like on his own, he still have the colored vision. He still have the colored vision. But when he's following that thing, because that thing is right, so gradually the color is like it's the decolorization process starts happening. And he starts seeing more and more and more. And like in terms of bhakti, it happens till the time you reach the level of bhava. To reach the level of bhava, it is complete decolorization. Therefore, at that time, from then onwards, you don't need the idea of need. You don't need sadhu guru shastra. You want sadhu guru shastra. It's a different thing. You see, I want this. Like I want this is different thing than I need this. Need is for my survival. Want is not survival. Want is like more like I like that. If I want that. Somebody wants this, I want a little more. You know. So it's like, so that's the in Bhakti Yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga, because the entire thing is like, it's an ascending process. Entire, so the fight is even more intense. In Ashtanga Yoga, the fight is very intense. Because you are, see, it's like working against the gravity. So the material nature is trying to pull you down, and the Ashtanga Yoga is the ascending process. You are trying to move against the gravity. So it's becoming like more and more and more. And you'll see that. Like we think that the yam niyam are the difficult ones. No. You'll see the pratyahar is the more difficult one. That's there. Like you'll find the definition of pratyahar is also part of your CBA. Okay. We'll
Hare
see
Krishna,
that.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I have a question.
Go on, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Bhaji.
We as know, everybody has a different spiritual path. So in this yoga ladder, does the prarabdha karma also interferes if one is practicing Ashtanga yoga and meanwhile he dies? So the next
Yes.
birth he takes, so
Yes.
will he be on the same Ashtanga yoga platform because
Generally.
of his prarabdha?
Generally. Generally, yeah. Why not? Generally. See, all the kinds of yogis, you see, whatever progress you have made, you will have the inclination to start from there. You'll have the inclination because that is part of your samskara. That's why we see, even like, why don't everybody takes to Bhakti Yoga? There were many people who wants to take to some other path. I'm not talking about the cheats, or I'm not talking about the fools. Okay. Like those who are like the topmost fools, like also we also use this term sometimes in preaching because when you're speaking to a fool, you have to speak like a fool. Okay, sometimes because that's the language he understands or he's used to. And he will say, oh, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. Actually, these are fools. As soon as you know, as soon as you hear this, you should laugh from inside, not outside. Okay. If you laugh outside, then you will lose him. But from inside, you should know he's a great fool. Okay? Because there's no question of spirituality without a religious system, because religious system means us a set of practice. Doesn't mean like cricket is a religion. That's a pseudo religion. So science is a religion. That's a pseudo religion. Here we are talking about discipline. Actually, science is actually a religion. Science is actually a religion because it follows a set defined path. And because of the set defined path, you can have definitive result. That's
My
why
next
Prabhupada
question.
always said bhakti as a science. So therefore, anything, it doesn't have a defined path. Somebody says, I can be spiritual without any defined path, is a fool, number one. So, but you should not, like, as a matter of etiquette and as a matter of strategy, don't say that out loud. Okay. So both.
Prabhuji,
But
next
actually it is.
question is,
Wait,
the
I
free
haven't
will.
finished. I haven't
Yes.
finished it. I haven't finished it. Just let me kind of complete this circle. So, but that's why these other people, those who have no wait, Vishaka Maji, my question is not yet done with Krishna Priya Maji. I'll come to you. Then these people who have practiced Ashtanga yoga or any form of yoga in the previous life, they will have the samskar and they will start all over again. But the starting of here is a difference between bhakti yoga and any other form of yoga. In bhakti yoga, the credit, say for example, you left your body in the stage of anartha nivritti. So here you will start from anartha nivritti. But since the other practices are like ascending process, so you'll have to start all over again, but you will catch up very soon. Because of your previous sanskar, you will catch up very soon. But in
Will
Bhakti
there be any
Yoga,
free will also? The free will which we were talking earlier.
come
In the
again.
next incarnation of the person, will his
Mhm.
free will interfere with his prarabdha karma in that way?
If free will is always there, he has a prarabdha and that take to that inclination. So then it's not, and sometimes see, that means what? The prarabdha, what's happening? He will get an environment which is conducive to this kind of life. That's why it is always saying Sangam Tyaktva, Sangam Taktva, Sangam Taktva. So if you don't have bad association, he will continue from there. But if you have an association contrary to that, so that the free will, it might flow towards that thing. And you will miss this opportunity. But in case of Bhakti Yoga, even if you in the next birth, you don't do that, the Bhakti, that whatever progress was that doesn't get dissolved. But in these other yoga systems, if you don't practice, gradually it starts eroding. Because, like it's like a progress you have made like this. So gradually it starts dwindling. So for example, 4 or 5 births, you lose everything if you don't take it up. But in Bhakti, even after 100 births, if you take the process, it will still start from another everything. That's the difference between this and that. Free will is
Thank you.
certainly there.
Thank you so much.
Vishaka Maji, go on.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी मुझे ये क्वेश्चन था कि जब हर योग का इधर इट्स कर्म योग और जो है ना ज्ञान योग और ध्यान योग, ठीक है, हर योग का अल्टीमेट रिजल्ट इज भक्ति योग, तो
नहीं,
इट इज अबाउट
अल्टीमेट रिजल्ट नहीं है, अगर कोई जाना चाहे then it's bhakti yoga. It's like it gives you that thing. It's not that automatically you will start bhakti yoga.
but our goal is to attain Krishna, na?
That is whose goal? The bhakta's goal, not the jnani's goal. Not everybody is by default bhakti. Bhakti is not so cheap that ultimately bhakti is like what do you call that? Bhakti is like a well. Everybody comes to the edge of the well and then it falls down into bhakti. It's not like that. You rise to bhakti. You don't fall for bhakti. You can fall in love, but you can fall in bhakti. You can only rise in bhakti. You see, that's how it works. So then the jiva has to choose bhakti, and the bhakti is given by somebody. You see, that's why bhakti janma mool hai sadhu sangha. It's not enough karma yoga leads to bhakti yoga. It's not enough of jnana yoga leads to bhakti yoga. So there, at that point in time, when you are 100% karma, 100% jnana, 100% dhyana, so and you get the touch of the bhakta, there you are. You see? But if the bhakti is not touching you by any means, you still cannot enter into bhakti. Cannot. Okay. Thank you. There's so many examples in Bhagavatam that all these kind of people, it's only when they came in touch with a devotee, and devotee doesn't mean a sadhaka. We are repeatedly discussing that devotee means a person who is at least on the stage of bhava, if not prema. It's only after that it starts. Okay. Thank you. Dayamaji, and they have to move ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
Yes.
what is eligibility criteria for Bhakti Yoga?
Eligibility criteria bhakti yoga. Minimum, yeah, that's there. In Network Devotion, this is one of the sections in first chapter. Eligibility for bhakti. Eligibility for bhakti is the desire of the jiva first. It starts there.
I know
Okay.
this.
And then there's also the mercy of Krishna coming through a devotee, which means a person who will introduce you to bhakti. The mercy means somebody who introduces you to bhakti. What is bhakti? Serving Krishna in any of the ways. Anybody who engages you in the service of Krishna in any way. Either that is by starting drinking Charnamrita or seeing a Rath Yatra or receiving a book of Bhagavad Gita or somewhere. It's anything.
Prabhuji.
See, why do we have these big Sankirtans? You must go to one of the Sankirtans in Karachi. The huge Sankirtans, like go with GIZ. So, so why do we do that? That's done primarily because of this. So that others are introduced, because unless you do that, you don't be introduced. I can see Haripriya sitting in the darkness, but still glowing. That's the power of bhakti. You see? You can be without electricity, but still you can glow.
Prabhuji, then how the other yogis progress towards Bhakti Yoga?
Same in all these cases. For that you need to come to the Bhagavatam. See, that's why when we read Bhagavad Gita and we have a full with this kind of concepts. We've got so many concepts. Now we are looking for case studies. So Bhagavatam provides those case studies. That this is Durvasa, such a great yogi. And there is this negative experience with Ambarish Maharaj, but he gets the positive bhakti. So you see, 4 Kumars, greatest of the yogis, negative experience with Jai Vijay, but the positive experience of able to smell the tulsi, the aroma of tulsi from lotus feet. That's what we do. We take the flowers and tulsi from Lord's feet and we smell them every day in our temple. Bhakti, correct. Okay, so some form of direct bhakti, limb of bhakti will give bhakti. But because the person has had some training in spirituality, which is karma yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, he can immediately take it and rise from there very rapidly. Whereas a person who has not tried any of this yoga procedures, say for example, he's a karma kandi, as we saw in the lowest, the yoga ladder, he requires more effort. He requires more effort. That's why we see in our Krishna consciousness, we see Like certain people, they come to Krishna consciousness and they start rising very rapidly. That means they have done bhakti in the previous life. And some people who may have started in this very life, he will see, he will have so many problems. Prabhuji, bhakti mein kya aaye, barbad ho gaye. Kind of thing, you see, because he started that. And he is thinking that, like, so, yeah, that's how it is. Okay, thank you. Vaibhavi Maji, go on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, my question is that desire can come at any lifetime. Means it is not necessary that I have desired to serve Krishna or I have made a cry to serve Krishna in
I
this
always,
lifetime and Bhakti has came.
I always have a desire to serve Krishna, but that desire is like covered by these material desires. So if somebody, one of these two things, either you have this, the desire is like if you have called lesser amount of sin, then that desire will be stronger. And the more you are covered over by sin, the desire will be weaker and weaker, regressively, not progressively, regressively. So if there is a devotee, that also requires a very powerful devotee, if he gives you an opportunity to bhakti, and you do that without knowing that this is bhakti or the will to do this, that act turns into a sukriti. So that sukriti is a positive karma, which is now part of your samskar. So that sukriti, when the time comes, that sukriti gives you, it's like money changing exchange, dollar to rupee ratio. So it changes into an opportunity to perform direct devotional service. If you now perform the direct devotional service, there you start. If you lose that opportunity, you're back to square one. And then again, there is another devotee who again tries and comes, give you another sukriti, and you will wait for that till that sukriti, you can catch that. That's how it works. That's how it works.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. Okay. I think Vishaka is done, right? It's like a lower hand. All right. Nishta Maji, let's move on. Oh, this is 7, right? Now we will go to the 7.
But if you have to start with 7, right?
Yeah, this is 7 on the screen.
For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same.
The first time in Bhagavad Gita verses, Krishna is mentioning super soul. Till the time he was mentioning supreme, absolute truth, maximum supreme Lord. Okay, but never super soul. This is the start of Paramatma realization. This is beyond the reach of jnana. This is only the domain of dhyana or ashtanga, whatever way you call it. Okay. Attain, for he has attained tranquility. See, this is a very important point. Wait. Prashantasya. You see? It's not just Shanta. You see? It's not just Shanta. It is Prashanta. Specific Shanti. Pra means specific. This kind of Shanti that is only attained by from the Paramatma Samahita. You see? This kind of Shanti is gained from Paramatma, not Brahma. In Brahma also you get a Shanti, but this kind of Shanti is gained from, there's a different shade of Shanti. This is from the Paramatma. Okay. Certainly he has conquered his mind. Okay. So because he's conquered his mind, then to such a man, happiness and distress, cold, honor, dishonor, these are all same. You see? So here honor and dishonor are the same. And this is the path of Ashtanga. Whereas in the path of sadhana bhakti, we practice amanina manadena. There we practice that, and there he practices this. Mana paya manayo. Mana apamanayo. Okay? He practices this and we practice that. Okay? Such a man. He is not. So these kind of things at the highest, even you read Bhagavatam, you see case studies like Rishabdev. You see Jada Bharat. All of these people. You can see that. So these are all practices which are all like later on coming to Krishna consciousness. In the beginning, those practices are all Ashtanga Yoga practices. Okay. The Ashtanga Yoga mixed with devotion becomes devotion. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. Classic case of Ashtanga Yoga. But practicing it in conjunction with Bhakti Yoga. That means the practices of Ashtanga Yoga, they become secondary to Bhakti Yoga. They are essentially performing Bhakti, but using the path of Ashtanga. You see? Just like Dhruva Maharaj, when you see that, all that, that's a classic case of Ashtanga and one of the most successful case studies of Ashtanga, who could attain Bhava within 6 months. That was the power of like Dhruva's Ashtanga. But because he was doing, why did it attend Bhava and why didn't he attend Paramatma realization? Because he was practicing Bhakti. Had he simply been performing Ashtanga Yoga, he would have only had Paramatma realization. He couldn't have seen Vishnu in front of his eyes. Because that's when he opened his eyes. When he saw that the Paramatma he could see within his heart, that means the soul called Dhruva was seeing Paramatma, the super soul within his heart, and then the super soul disappeared. And just as the super soul disappeared, the soul immediately started looking for him. And the body, which is Dhruva's body, which is responding to that. And he opens his eyes. And he sees Lord Vishnu standing before him. That is Bhava Bhakti. That's why it is Bhava Bhakti. Okay? And that's why then after that, after he has his kingdom, then he again started his bhakti. He said, enough of my kingdom, and then now resume where I left when I was 5 years old. Resume that. And this time he reached Prema Bhakti, and therefore he goes back to Vaikuntha with the same body. It's not a material body anymore. You see? So those are like epitomes. Epitomes. So many times you will see, whenever you will read Bhagavatam, you will see Prithu Maharaj using Ashtanga Yoga, you will see Dhruva using Ashtanga Yoga. Only Prahlad does not use Ashtanga Yoga. You see Bharat Maharaj, Rishabdev, all of them using Ashtanga Yoga, and you may be confused, what is they are doing? I don't see any bhakti. No, the practice what they are using is Ashtanga, but the path which they have chosen is bhakti. Because everywhere you will see, just like, for example, Dhruva, like he is using Ashtanga, but the mantra he is chanting is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which we chant. So if he is practicing Ashtanga Yoga, he doesn't need to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You see? So Dhruva Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, you will see, he is chanting the mantra of Vishnu from Rig Veda. Although the practice is following, the practices are Ashtanga yoga practices. So it's not just the practice, but the aim and the path that determine. That's why I said, like, what you call jnana. If the target is Brahma, then it is jnana. That's why it's like the target is Paramatma, then it is Ashtanga. It is not just the path, but the target what you fix determines the path. Vaibhavi Maji, go on, and then we will move ahead.
So, Prabhuji, did Narad Muni also practiced Ashtanga Yoga after
Yes,
going
very
to exile?
good. Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. Yes. Narad Muni was practicing Ashtanga. That's why it happened. Same thing happened with Narad Muni. Thank you. When he reached the stage of Bhava, so immediately that says that just like lightning and the sound, the same thing, Vishnu came in front of his eyes vision. He saw Vishnu and then Vishnu disappeared. And then you could only hear that for this lifetime, you will not see me again. That means with that stroke, he got Bhava Bhakti. He was not Narad Muni then. He was the son of the maidservant. The son of the maidservant died, and he was born as the son of Brahma, Narad Muni. And he got Krishna Prem or Vishnu Bhakti. See, that's it. So that is how the Gandharva Upabharan fell to become. See, that's the 3 lives of Narad Muni. Or you see the 3 lives of Bharat Maharaj. And therefore, on these, based on these case studies, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur once commented that generally it takes 3 lifetimes to attain Krishna Prem. When he was showing these case studies. Prabhupada says, no 3 lifetimes, 1 lifetime. Okay? No risk of 3 lifetimes, 1 lifetime. Okay? Straight away. Don't go left, don't go right, straight to Krishna. So that's how it is. So what Bhakti Siddhanta is claimed that, like, even if there is a like mishap, generally it should be like 3 lifetimes. So these are indications of Bhagavatam, you see. These are indications of Bhagavatam. Yes, Vishakha Maji, go on.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, in the 3rd chapter, you told us that Karma Yogi is someone who says there is God, but he doesn't know who is it. Then
Supreme
how?
Lord.
Then we just wrote about the yoga tree, and there was that like the target of the Karma Yogi is Brahma. Then how can be the target of Karma Yogi?
See, that the target of Karma Yogi is not Brahma. The target of Karma Yogi is not clear. It becomes only clear in the advanced stages. That's why you see, let's go back to the yoga ladder and you will see. Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. I didn't clarify that thing. Wait, that is the difference between these two. You see these 2 arrows. One is the dotted line and one is the bold line. Why it is dotted? It is dotted because he is not very sure, but even in the advanced stages, gradually he can reach Brahma. Whereas jnana is very clear that the target is Brahma. That's it. Karma Yogi, when he starts in the lower realms, that is not very clear. But in the higher, intermediate and higher realms, see, gradually it says absolute truth. Then he ends with the Supreme Lord, Brahma. Whereas the Jnana Yogi starts with the premise that like there is the Brahma, because he's more renounced. You see, that's why. Good question. It's a good question. Yes, I forgot that actually. I thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. All right. So it's the dandy time to move ahead. Verse number 8, Maji, please go on.
A a person is said to be established in self-realization. He is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same.
You see this term, acquired knowledge? This is the telltale difference between the ascending path and the descending path. Bhakti being the descending path, there is nothing called acquired knowledge. It is descending knowledge. In the ascending path, there is acquired knowledge. As you move up, you're acquiring the knowledge. Whereas in Bhakti, knowledge descends upon you and therefore you move up. The term knowledge is again different. The acquired knowledge is the knowledge of the Brahma, whereas the descending knowledge is the knowledge of Bhagavan, which is Sambandha Jnana. Okay, this is the second difference. The knowledge, the term knowledge as used here and the term knowledge as we use for Bhakti, completely different. The knowledge of Bhakti is part of Bhakti. It is Bhakti, nothing but Bhakti. But here, the knowledge is part of Jnana. So, good. I see Devika is sitting there patiently. This is called, like equanimity yogi. One can sit for hours without any electricity and, like having a smile on your face. So, these people have got the best chances to do devotional service. They are so tolerant and patient. All right. So here you see established. Okay, wait. This needs to be shown. The Sanskrit. We needs to focus on the Sanskrit. Yukta iti uchyate yogi. Another definition of yogi. Okay. Yukta iti uchyate yogi. Because he is connected to the Lord, is called a yogi. Yukta iti uchyate yogi. One of the definitions of yogi. Okay. So, jnana vijnana triptatma. You see, it doesn't say anything. It's jnana vijnana. Why it is jnana then? If it is yoga, then why it is jnana? Because the Ashtanga yoga must pass through the stage of impersonal, the jnana mark. Okay. With the jnana and the vijnana, his realization can be only he be satisfied. He's not just satisfied because see, some people can be satisfied with like the minimum. Okay. That's not why he's satisfied. He's satisfied because he has attained jnana, impersonal Brahma realization. And he is also got the realization further. That's why it's Vijnana. Vijnana is not just impersonal. Vijnana is a little more than that. That means he is inching towards Paramatma. Realized knowledge. What has he realized? Paramatma. Okay. Therefore, in transcendence, he sees everything as, pebble stones. Now, like the same thing like the Pandita. You see the same symptoms as Pandita. The symptoms are same as the Pandita. Pandita is you can understand what is the stage. Generally in India, like we, kind of make fun of Pandit. Oh, Panditji, oh, Bhaman, In Punjabi, they say, like things like that. But actually, this is Pandita. So, yes, go on, verse number 9.
A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind.
So he's further advanced. You see, this was not advanced enough. It was like Vijnana, Triptatma. He was Triptatma. He was satisfied. But the journey hasn't stopped. So the next verse has to be seen continuation with the same verse. That he is again, that the journey is further advancing now. You see, further advanced. You see, further advanced. So journey is continuing. This will be coming. These things will come. First that will come, then this will come. Okay. And now the last verse of this section. Go on. This is now he has become Yoga Ruda. He started with the Yoga Ruduksha, the practitioner. Now he has become perfect Yoga Ruda. Go on.
A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness.
You see, the transcendentalist, not the devotee. One who is practicing this ascending mark, yoga, he must be living alone in seclusion. For the devotees, we require association. But here, the transcendentalist, he requires seclusion, alone. Okay? And carefully control his mind. So here he's talking about the practitioner, not the soul. He's saying transcendentalist. You see? The sadhaka. So this is like encapsulating the first 9 verses. That's how you do it. That's your first target. The target of controlling the mind and try a target of remaining in a secluded place is to be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. These two things. Possessiveness. Okay? You see, aparigraha. Aparigraha. Okay? That is required. Ekaki. Yata chittatma. Aparigraha. So this aparigraha thing. And when we, obviously when we practice this same thing, we have to also practice the same kind of thing, but our path is different. So we practice yukta vairagya. The parallel here for the path of the devotion, of the practicing devotee, it's like here's a transcendentalist and here's the practitioner devotee. He needs to practice yukta vairagya, but that's a very high stage. Generally, yukta vairagya is practiced by the Madhyamadhikari under the direction of the Uttamadhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari has no access to Yukta Vairagya. It's just, you see, Prabhupada is using Anasaktasya Vishaya, Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. You see that? That's why. All right. So with this, we've concluded the first section within this, which where Krishna is basically speaking about Yoga Ruda and Yoga Ruruksha, Yoga Ruda practice. Okay. So now from here you will start the stages in yoga practice up to the stage of Samadhi, what I think Shubham Prabhu was asking about. Okay. So let's see how far can we go. We might not be able to cover the whole thing today, but let's see. So now the Ashtanga yoga practice is starting. Okay. So here was the mission statement. The 10th was the mission statement, like like the introduction. This is what we need to do. And for that, he has to live alone, right? He has to control his mind and senses, right? He has to be free from desire. So how do you do these things? Now he is saying the yoga path. Generally, people say that the book on yoga is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. We challenge that. The book of yoga is Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita gives introduction to all kinds of yoga, not just Ashtanga yoga. And Bhagavad Gita is much older than Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And the source of Bhagavad Gita is far superior than Patanjali himself. So generally people think, yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. No, as Bhagavad Gita. By the way, that book, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, is a sutra. It's not a book. It's codes. If they are codes, here are the explanations. Okay? That's why Bhagavad Gita. That's why we see most of these people, those who read Patanjali Yoga Sutra, start with Patanjali Yoga Sutra, have no clue what they are doing. Because you can only use the codes when you know the law. They should be starting with Bhagavad Gita, but they start with Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and only as a time pass they read Bhagavad Gita. Oh, that is one of the another important books one you should read. No, that is the first book you should read, regardless of whatever yoga you want to practice. All right, Vaibhavi Maji and Dayamaji, go on.
Prabhuji, in this shloka, are we also talking about those who practice the Siddhi Yoga? Because they
Yeah,
also sit in the
this is part of
Ekant
that. That is part of the Siddhi. Yeah, Siddhis are part of yogas.
Ashtanga
Siddhis,
Yoga.
yeah, part of the Ashtanga Yoga. It must come, and you have to you don't start jumping when you have the Siddhis and move ahead. That's the idea. But it will come automatically. It will come. Yeah,
Okay.
because actually Siddhis. Okay, let me not say that much. That will ruffle your feathers. Go on, Dayamaji.
Prabhuji, I have one more
Okay,
thing.
okay, go on, Vai Maji, please
So,
go on.
how is it relatable to a sadhaka who is performing Krishna consciousness?
The same thing. That's why you see the purpose is so important. When you in the translation, Prabhupada is explaining the path, and in the purport, Prabhupada is giving the parallel things which we just go parallel with the Bhakti Yoga. They're not they're not, if you understand one path very nicely, you will be able to understand the other paths. How does that work? Even if you're not practicing that, because you practice your path, you can figure this out. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he's giving a wonderful, that's one of the finest interfaith statements I have read. He writes that in Chaitanya Shikshamrita, that whenever, I'm just paraphrasing, whenever I'm seeing the church, in the church, they're practicing their prayers, or the Muslims, they're giving their azans. So that is actually enhancing my faith in my practice, because I can see that they are approaching the same Supreme, who is the object of my worship, in a different way. Not because it's a political statement. There was no politics in those days. It's because he can analyze what he is doing essentially. So when we talk about interfaith meets, you see, sometimes you may have seen this so-called interfaith meets in Delhi. These interfaith meets are nothing but just a photo op session. But actual interfaith meets is called do perform interfaith meets. And not all ISKCON interfaith meets are actual interfaith meets. But when it's called actual, it's because interfaith meet requires one thing, faith. Okay, so when do interfaith meets? So the interfaith meet is trying to find people of faith. It's not about like your religion or my religion, this religion, that religion. No. To find people of faith, it's very different, very difficult, regardless of whatever religious path you're following. A genuine seeker is always hard to find. It's not that ISKCON is a conglomerate of all seekers. Not like that. So it's like, okay, go on. Vaibhavi Maji, I think you're still not done, right? Please
So
go
in
on.
that search, we look for association, and in ISKCON, we generally hear this term that we should do our sadhana and we should practice our service in association. But here we are also talking about ekant, alone
That's why I
place.
said there, because that's what I said, that here, where we are looking for the part of sadhana bhakti, you are looking for association, and here you are looking for seclusion. Because if there's no seclusion, then you won't be able to, because the path is ascending. No? Here, because the
Right.
sadhana bhakti, the path is descending, therefore you require association. But if you have to ascend, how can you ascend if you've got so many people around you?
Okay.
Anyways, also, even in devotional service, the concept of association, there's no book, you will never find it. You see in your limited experience, if you can go back and you can think about it, you will never find a book that tells you how many people you should have around you. It only says association. It doesn't quantify it. Because it is not a matter of quantity, it's a matter of quality. One is good enough.
Associated few.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one is it. See, the term sadhu sangha, although the word sangha means people. But when you say sadhu, it is singular, it's not plural. You see, the term sadhu sangha appears to be singular, not plural, but actually it is plural because Sanskrit grammar rules makes it plural. That is the value of having one sadhu in the life. Why do you see Narottam Das Thakur is singing Ramchandra Sangama? He is very categorical. I want this person to be in my life. Ramchandra Sangama. Who is Ramchandra? Ramchandra is the disciple of his god brother, not even his god. So good things are hard to find, even if for one person a song. That's it. Okay. All right. Daya, go on.
Hare Krishna. Firstly, I want to ask that it's an association of single. Association of books can be beneficial. That doesn't
That's
require.
right. That's right. Books.
Prabhupada books are in
Prabhupada says in one place that if you don't have any associate with books. So the point is there, we don't limit our association. If you find good association, we take association. If you don't find association, see, if you don't get anything nice to eat, don't eat poison. That's the point. It's not that you must fill your belly. You don't get nice association, don't eat poison. But if you get good association, take it. If you don't get good association, read books. And there will be a time you'll get association also. You take association. So that's how it is. So one must be very selective about it. So how to select and all that thing, that will come with nectar of instruction. When you will be having NOI, then you will have those things. Okay.
question.
All right. Sure.
Question. Prabhuji, you are saying continuously Patanjali something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is written in 6.24 purpose.
It's
I
there.
don't know what is that.
That is a book. That's the sutra. That sutra means codes. It's a book of codes in 4 parts, which tells you how to practice Ashtanga Yoga. and how to reach the final stage of Ashtanga Yoga called Samadhi.
Right.
Yeah, that's a guide. That's actually a handbook. It's like Bhagavad Gita is not a handbook. It's a book, but that is a handbook. And one can only practice a handbook, one can only read a handbook when he has got practical association, somebody to guide. You see, that's the difference between a handbook and a book. Okay. But what happens if somebody reads the handbook as a book? You see, that's what happens. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Maji. Okay, let's go. Now we are going to those technical, and threadbare details of Ashtanga Yoga. Threadbare details. Come on, Nishtamaji. It's your time.
To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha, grass, on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low, should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point.
Yes, just wait for a second. I'm showing you what is kusha. Most people, those who stay in cities, they don't know what is kusha. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me stop this sharing and change the sharing. Now, when you see, then you will say, oh, it is growing widely. In India and Pakistan, it grows widely. But in West, it's a rarity. Okay. This is kusha. Generally how it grows. You go to, generally you will find them in what is this place? Wait. You see, this is kusha. Generally you will find them in wild places, which like uncultivated lands. That is generally where it is found. Kusha. Okay. And this kusha, then when it is dry, it looks like this. Can you see this? It's new tab. You see? Then it looks like this. This is the dry kusha. And that is the fresh kusha. The previous one was the fresh kusha. What happened, Dayamaji? What makes you laugh?
Prabhuji, in a darbar, like peer, are there na? There they used to like piche marte hain isko.
They beat you. Yeah, why? There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Wait.
I dare to laugh.
Yeah, as you will tell you why it happens like that. And this is how when the kusha is like packed and used for yagyas, then the kusha looks like this. Some in market they will. And this kusha straw, there you can make mats. Wait. Kusha grass mat. You see? Commonly seen. This is the finest of the kusha mat, I would say. This one. This is a really good kusha mat. It's a really good kusha mat. So this is all kusha. Okay, you have to understand what is. This one is also very good kusha mat. These are what like every practitioner at home. Try to buy a kusha mat for yourself. So whenever you are like offering anything to Krishna, bhoga or arti, whatever, sit or stand over this kusha. It's good. If you can find this, if you can find this. But very difficult to find in India and Pakistan. Shubham Prabhu, go on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what is the significance of kushagrass? Like why kushagrass?
Yeah, now I'm coming. That's same question with Daya asked. Because you see, they're like Daya already got a beating for that. Like some people, okay. So if you don't know the importance, then you get bitten by that. So, So kusha, actually kusha is emerges, or the origins of kusha is traced back to the hairs on the body of Lord Varaha. The origins of kusha are traced back to the hairs on the body of Yagyavaraha. So kusha and yagya, they appear practically simultaneously at the start of Treta. At the start of Treta, Yagyavaraha comes with the appliances of Yagya, and that's why what happens when Yagyavaraha, he kills Hiranyaksha, and then he comes out of the water. And you see, that's how the like pigs do, or the dogs do, like this, and then they shake off all the water. So when Yagyavara came out and he shook off all the water, that is symbolized by, when you must have seen that they take these leaves and dip it inside the water, and then they do this Om Shanti Shanti. That's what it is. This is the Yagyavaraha's like water coming from the body of Yagyavaraha. And that's why you use kusha for that. So the touch of kusha is required for any yagya to succeed. That's why when we worship Krishna, we always use a kusha mat. It's always better to have a kusha mat if you can find a kusha mat. Okay? So that's what kusha is. And mark my words, if you are going to cut kusha with your own hands, always take a scissor or a knife. Never, like, kusha is like extremely sharp. It's just like, how many of you like flown kites? Shobham Prabhu, Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu? Yeah, oh, Simal Maji, yeah. Manja is sharper than any manja. A little bit, if you are like, if you are careless, immediately you'll have cut and you will have like blood. So that also shows the nature of Krishna. That if you are not careful with Krishna, Shurasya Dhara Nishita Durataya. It's like the edge of the razor. So be careful with Krishna. So that's why Kusha is like that. Okay. There are different grasses. There's another grass called Durva. That grass is like, comes in terms of its spiritual status. It only comes next to Tulsi. Durva. The Durvasa thing we were discussing the other day. Durva grass. These are some of the things you must know. Like coming to Krishna consciousness, these things you will get to know gradually, but better to know beforehand. Durva grass. You see, this is Durva. This is the finest picture of Durva. Wait. Coming, Vaimaji. Just give me this second. This is actually Durva. This is the best Durva. What's going on? It's there, right? Oh, sorry. Here. You see? This is Durva grass. Okay. It's different from the generally the grass they nowadays use, like in the lawns. So that's like coming, because that grows uniformly and then you can cut it and it becomes like very greenish. But that's not Durva. This is Durva. The wild grass that grows in India and Pakistan. Okay. So that's the Durva thing. So this is how the Durva is used. This one. This is how it is used. When it's used like this. It's very good. This is one is used. This is substitution. If you don't have flowers for Krishna, you can use Durva grass. Okay. All right. Let's move. Okay. Okay, Vaibhavi Maji, are you done? You had a question.
No, Prabhuji, I just wanted to add one thing that
Please, ma'am.
about the kusha grass. that scientifically it is said that I've been hearing this from childhood, that it doesn't allow your energy to pass through that kusha mat. It
Possibly,
remains to your body and it doesn't
possibly,
allow your energy to pass to the earth.
possibly, because yeah, because you are dealing with energy fields at that time. When you are doing this Ashtanga yoga, you are dealing with different energy fields. See, just like because like chakras, and the chakras, the energy of the chakra is released as what we call aura. So all of these things are there, but like better not speak much about that. Otherwise, Daya will. Where's Daya? She's not around, right? We can speak a little bit. All right. Daya will be spooked. Yeah, it is the same. Okay, fine. Go on. Let's go ahead. Oh, not go ahead. We are done, right? So that's what it is. Okay, that's how we sit, make the preparation, and also cover it with a deer skin. Why deer skin? Because deer skin is a repellent, natural repellent. If there is a dead deer skin, there you will, because you will be sitting in a jungle or in a wild. So no scorpions, no snakes, or this kind of reptiles, they don't come near the deer skin. That's why it's a deer skin or a tiger skin. They're natural repellents. So yeah. And then you see the practicing. Now we will start this from tomorrow. Okay. So thanks to everyone. Hare Krishna. All glories to all the assembled devotees and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And thank you very much for your wishes. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna to
Pranam to
all
all
the
devotees.
assembled
Hare